Hey, hot stuff. My name is Ellen Smoke, author of Breakups Are a Bitch, but Getting Over It Doesn't Have to Be, and this year's Roast Master for Cupid's Roast. My goal is to help you ditch bad dates, disappointing relationships, and other people's baggage once and for all by using the 3 steps to turn your life around: awareness, affirmation, and action. To do this, I've pulled together over 40 of the world's leading love and relationship experts to help you get back at Mr. Cupid for playing a joke on your love life. Together, we are going to help you find and keep the happy, healthy, hot love that you deserve. On the phone tonight are 3 women who have truly achieved greatness in their lives, including my own life coach. These women are here at Cupid's Roast to make sure you know the success secrets to having it all in life and the secrets you need to know to have all of your dreams come true, too. We're going to talk about success tonight, the success principles, and how you can be as successful in your love life as you are in all the others. Let me tell you a little bit about these 3 great women before we start. Allison Maslin, CEO of Blast Off, a global business mentoring company, was recently named one of top women entrepreneurs who inspire by Self-Made magazine. #1 best-selling author of Blast Off, the surefire success plan to launch your dreams into reality. Allison has built 10 successful companies starting out as a single mom. Her client list includes Ben & Jerry's, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, and Allstate. She's been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox across the U.S., and recently interviewed in Success magazine. Christy Mims is the founder of the Revolutionary Club, a Forbes Top 100 website for your career. She helps women all over the world create their very own career revolutions every day. Vanessa Horn is an international life and business coach, author of a new book called I'll Have What She's Having, and founder of the It Factor Academy. She earned an MBA in marketing and entrepreneurship and has a gift for inspiring and empowering entrepreneurs to live a life of passion, purpose, and profits. Welcome to Cupid's Roast, ladies.
Excited to be here.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I think my success level just increased about 100% just by being on the phone with you ladies right now. And I'm super excited for our listeners to leave this call completely prepared to make their own dreams come true. We've just spent the last week here at Cupid's Roast learning how all the universal powers that be exist and how to use them to turn our own love life around and get what we most desire. The reason I wanted you all here tonight at the end of this week is because I want all of our listeners to leave knowing exactly how to channel all of this universal power into actual intentions and actual results, which I know you have hundreds, if not thousands of them that you can share. So listeners, make sure your pen and paper is ready because you're about to learn how to put into practice what we've learned this week and even what I've been taught by my own coach on how to make my own dreams come true. So ladies, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Let's get going.
So, Allison, I'm going to start with a really loaded question. Is there really a such thing as having it all?
Absolutely. And you should never settle on any area of your life, Ellen. That's what I truly believe. So
I know that. I hear that
possibilities
from you,
are endless.
and I think that's great advice.
Yes, and I think in society it's very easy to plug in to people complaining and whining that they don't have what they dream of in their relationship, that it's not possible. It's not possible to have the business or career of your dreams. And people get vulnerable and they plug into that and they own it as their story. But it doesn't have to be your story. You can let that go and write a new one starting this very moment.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So, again, if you don't have a pen and paper, listeners, I want you to get one out because we're going to talk about intention setting. We're going to talk about getting clear on what you want and how to make it come true, because I can tell you that all 3 of these women have mastered the universal powers that be, and they've mastered intention setting, and they have so many success principles to share. I'm curious, since we're on the phone with a lot of people men and women from across the world. We're on the phone with people who have had relationship breakup or are on the rocks in their relationship. And I'm curious what career has to do with it. Vanessa, do you find that when one thing, if love goes wrong, then career goes wrong and vice versa?
It can be a dangerous slope if we attach the two together, because what can happen when we've gone through a breakup or we're experiencing turmoil in our relationship, that it can consume us emotionally and it can impact our career. And then, the other way around, can we be so consumed with our work that it impacts our relationship? Absolutely. So there is a connection between the two, but I think the question you're asking is, how do you keep it from bringing down your career, or how do you keep it from impacting your relationship? Which one?
How do we keep our career from impacting our relationship?
Oh, okay. Well, I've always been this extremely driven woman, and so with my relationship, I had found it was interesting because I wasn't willing to put my career or my even going to grad school was when I met my husband. I was unwilling to put those things on the back burner because I think one of the things as men or as women we have to be really congruent with ourselves is, what are those non-negotiables? What are those things that we really want? Because if we do compromise, we're going to regret that. So we have to choose, what are the things I'm unwilling to have regrets about in life? And so therefore, when you're asking the question, how do we make intentions? How do we get clear on what we want? How do we make it happen? One of the things that I've seen keeps people from creating that most powerfully in their life is they aren't clear on what they want. And they start to vacillate and therefore not get a really clear picture that is their own defined. The definition of having it all might be different for one person than it is for another, but how can they get super clear on that so that they're creating their life in the way that they want? And so when it comes to the career piece and balancing that with the relationship, it's saying, okay, wait a minute, I look at things on a scale of 1 to 10, and the things that are a hell yeah for me in life, those are the 10s. And if anything comes up and it's maybe a 7, an 8, or a 9, I say, wait, can I make it a 10? If not, I'm going to call it a no, or a no for now. And leaving this space, the only way you're going to create a hell yeah life is to make decisions every little place along the way that is a 10. Yes, this is a hell yeah. And it's the same thing career-wise and relationship-wise, that we can create both of those in balance without them sabotaging the other when we're clear about, okay, this is what I want it to look like, and I'm empowered to create that on a day-to-day basis.
I like that. So if it's not a hell, I like the saying, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. It sounds like you live
right.
by that same principle too. And I'm also hearing you say that we don't necessarily have to pick one or the other. I mean, we can work on our career and work on love at the same time, which from what we've experienced, men do have a harder time doing that sometimes than women. But we women, I really believe that if we can really get clear, going back to another word that you said, if we can get clear on what we want, then we do have the capacity to start working on multiple areas of our life at one time. Let's stay there with the word clear and the word clarity for a minute, which I know you all know this. It's clarity in life. There's a reason why they say clarity is king, right? We can't make anything happen until we're clear of what we want. Christy, do you have any first step tips on how to get clear about where you want to go in life, in love, in career, just in general? Where do you start?
Oh, I love this question. So I frame it as, I like to say no the why. So what I mean by that is, if you're thinking, my career is unhappy, my love life's unhappy, something's not right, and I'm thinking I want to try something else, maybe I want to start a business, maybe I want to start dating, whatever it is, I always say no the why of what you're doing, because it helps you understand and get clear and also motivate past anything that might prevent you from taking action. So if you want to start for example, if you want to change your career and start a business, why are you doing that? Is it because you want a certain financial freedom? Is it because you want a certain lifestyle? Is it because you want a certain type of work or a certain challenge in your work environment that you don't have? And once you get clear on that why, then it allows you to figure out the how and the what, right? If you really want a certain lifestyle or a certain love life, if you know why, then you can say, okay, well, maybe starting a business isn't right for me. Maybe staying in corporate America is the right approach. And you can really develop your priorities list, if you will, and get clear on, the number one thing I want in my life right now is love. Why do I want love? Because I want to feel a certain way, because I want that partnership, because I want someone to come home to, whatever it is. And then you can prioritize your time and your actions, and to the point of, what is a 10 out of 10? What things do you need to be doing to make that happen? And it becomes very clear the things that won't help you get there. So I kind of went all over the map on career and love, but I hope that made sense, Ellen.
It did, and I just want to regurgitate that a little bit, because what I heard the most was how you want to feel. And I love that. I think maybe that's a good place for us to start in helping people write their intentions. And everyone on the phone, if you write first how you want to feel in life, and then take that 10,000-foot view of your love life or of your life in general, and then start to fill in the pieces. Instead of trying to fill in the pieces and then deciding whether or not that's going to make you feel good, or, heaven forbid, get into a relationship for 3 years or into a marriage and realize this isn't how I wanted to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
why are you marrying that person? Why are you dating this person? What is it that they bring to your life and that you bring to theirs? And just really dig down, because a lot of times we do things because we think that we should, or because someone tells us to, or because we're afraid of something bad happening, and we don't really understand that why, why we're pursuing it and what it's really giving to us. So I think once you know that, then a lot of stuff becomes more clear.
Yeah, I really like this. Let's keep going with this for a moment. Allison, I think this is a great subject for you, because I actually use your software. One of your companies is a software called the Interactive Life Coach, and I actually use this on a daily basis. And when I put things into the software, my intentions into the software, it helps me be able to know what I need to do daily in order to get there. And I want to preface this by saying it sounds kind of rigid, right? When we're talking about love, it's supposed to be all lovey-dovey, and we're waiting for the universe to line the stars up and for our soulmate to fall out of the sky. But at the end of the day, we really have to take steps to make it happen. I mean, we've got to learn success principles. So, Allison, what can you share on how to take how we want to feel in life and then create the right intention from that feeling?
Great. I love this. It's funny because I was always great at manifesting my career. I've had many businesses, and business was easy for me. I just couldn't get the relationship thing right. And what I realized, first of all, that my chooser was broken. Like, I had no problem having relationships, but I wasn't choosing an appropriate match for me. And when I was in an unhappy situation, it finally dawned on me in this one particularly sad moment that, okay, you know what, I'm choosing to be in this situation. I'm choosing to be with this person that isn't, giving me what I need. I'm choosing to sit here and take this. And that was a pivotal moment for me. And I realized, I thought, well, if I'm so good at creating business, why can't I just take the exact same principles and apply those to finding love? Like, it was this big aha light bulb moment for me. And so I began to treat it like a business. And I know that that's like, wow, that doesn't sound very, lovey-dovey. But it was about having the intention, knowing where you're going, knowing what you want, and then putting, solid action steps behind it. So what I did was, just like I do in business, is get very clear on what it is that I want to create, and I call that your big picture vision. And I write, when I do a big picture vision on any area of my life, including my love life, is to write a story in present tense of what it would be like to be with this partner, and how would that feel, and what would this person look like, feel like to be around, what were the qualities of this man, what are the values of this man, and then the other part of it is what would it be like to be in a relationship with this partner. So I saw that as two very distinct things. Who was he as a person, and what would it be like to be in a relationship with this person? Because I kept, meeting these great guys, but they weren't really ready for a relationship to be fully committed. And so I wrote a story about that and really got into the tactile, the feeling of it, and just like what you were talking about a second ago, the why, the feeling. And then I broke that down and said, okay, what are the steps that I need to do to attract this person? So I began to visualize and feel him coming towards me. I had this visual of this amazing man walking towards me. Now, in the business that I had at the time that I was running, I was seeing clients one-on-one. There was no way I was going to really meet the person sitting in my office, and I don't date my clients. So I decided to get online and do, got on Match.com at the time. This was 8 years ago. And I treated it like a business. I said, okay, I'm going to just meet these men for coffee, and it'll be like an interview, like I'm interviewing a client. And I had this picture in my mind, these qualities. I was very clear on what that big picture vision was. And I just was asking myself, just like what we were talking about, is this a 10? Is this a 9? And if he didn't fit all of those qualities, it was just, a hell no, move on to the next. And so, in answer to your question, how do you, take those steps? For me, it was just getting very clear on that picture and then putting myself out there and setting the intention and taking action every day. And I set time aside. I said, all right, I am going to meet my soulmate by this date, which for me was, I think, August 12th, and it was June. And that's where I put my focus. I treated it like a business. And therein lies, my husband came along on August 4th. So he kept...
you are kidding me. I didn't even know this part of the story. So you had an intention for August 12th, and he came along on August 4th.
August 4th. Well, he kept coming up on Match.com. He was sending me notes. But the funny thing was that he was misspelling some words, and I was a journalism major, so I just kept ignoring it. I thought, this guy, he can't even spell, And so of course, he says he thought there was spell check on there. And the fourth time he wrote me, he said, I really feel we should meet. Here's my number. Give me a call. And I thought, man, this guy is persistent, And so... there's more to it because we actually lived in the same neighborhood for 10 years. He lived around the block from me, and we had never met. We'd been in the same Starbucks, the same grocery store, almost every day. But it wasn't until I set the intention and I was open to it, and I said no to everyone that came along my path that really wasn't a right fit, even if I was attracted to them. And he'd been there the whole time, but I hadn't been in the right place. I hadn't invited him in.
There are so many things I love about this, Allison, and what I want to highlight about what you just said are a couple of things. You did what I think is smart for all of us women to do our best at doing is you were doing what I call dating and discovery, dating to discover, rather than letting our emotions take over, right? I mean, I think we actually need to learn this more from men. Men are much better at this. But you were literally interviewing people for your love life, which is brilliant. And then also, because you were starting, what I'm seeing and what I'm understanding is that because you were writing out these steps and you were taking this massive action, as you say, it's almost like you took the blinders off of yourself because as we know, we walk around hypnotized half the time, right, when we go to the same grocery store or drive down the same street. But since you started telling yourself what you were looking for, you actually took your blinders off and started to see things. So here was this guy who actually was in the same Starbucks. You probably stood in line with him or got creamer with him numerous times. You just never know where people are. And so these were real brain exercises you were doing, like focus exercises. These success principles, it sounds like you literally took the success principles that you've even written in your book and applied them to your love life. Vanessa, I'm curious, what are some of these success principles what are some of the success principles that you live by that have helped increase your success in your love life, and you're married. How long have you been married, Vanessa?
15 years.
What are some of the success principles that you've taken from your business practice and applied to your marriage?
Well, you know what's interesting? I was listening to Allison share her story, and I think this is applied in my married life and even before I was married. I mean, I had a lot of proposals for men to marry me. Like they wanted to marry me, and I think it's the same thing that I see that makes us be successful in business. It's the principle for what I call in my book that I'll have what she's having. It's the same quality that in business has people say, I have to work with you. And what I have seen to be that magnetic quality that we can really write our ticket to what we want in life. Like, you want love in your life, how can you be so wildly attractive that you have your choice? Like, you really have the confidence that you don't have to settle, that of course men are attracted to you. Of course you're going to have plenty of options to choose. Of course you're going to have success in your business. Of course your boss wants to promote you. Of course you have an endless supply of people who want to work with you. How do you be that kind of person? I believe, and what I have seen from my own life and working with my clients, is we have to be so fully alive. Like, that needs to be our focus, is that it's not something that is external that's going to supply that for me, but how can I be so alive and it's what Howard Thurman says, don't ask what the world needs or what the world wants. Ask yourself what makes you come fully alive, because when you're living from that place, people say, okay, that's what I want. That's what people are magnetically drawn to, that because it's that quality that says, okay, she doesn't need me to be happy. When men see that, they're drawn to that. And so here's the other thing. When we're so excited about our life and we're making those hell yeah choices with everything. I mean, if we go shopping, you pick up a shirt, is there any question about it? It's a hell no. Because if anything that's hell yeah in life, we don't even have to rationalize and do pros and cons to. It's just like, it has to be. I'm getting that. This is what I want in my life. It has to be. I don't even have to sit down and write pros and cons. That's when you know it's a hell yeah. And it's being open-hearted with any person that you come into contact with. The principle in business is I'm not attached. When someone comes to have a conversation with me, and what has helped me be successful in sales is not being attached to the outcome. How that translates in the love life is not being attached to the outcome of what this relationship will turn into. How can I be a connoisseur of other people's souls and enjoy, like I would enjoy wine, and wine connoisseurs can taste all the notes, the flavors that are inside of a wine, and how can I be that way about people's souls and what makes them, and come from a mindset of such curiosity to get to know others. And I had men proposing to me, and I'm like, you don't even know me, but it's because they're like, you're just the most fascinating person. Why? Because I was asking them questions about themselves without an attachment that was either guarding about, I don't want them to, be attached to taking this somewhere where I don't want it to go, or also not having a predetermined path for where it should go, but just how can I enjoy the presence of them in this moment and who they are. And it was an open-hearted and being intentionally open-hearted and enjoying the presence of this person, because and my husband, I remember at one time when we were in our dating, I was so in angst because I didn't want to go down further down the path if I didn't know I was going to marry him. I mean, he was telling me he loved me. I wasn't even reciprocating. It took me 13 months to say I love you back because I was so afraid if I said I love you that it meant like I'm going to marry you. And I remember him say, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to marry you. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute. I haven't even asked you. He's like, do you know that this point in the relationship is right? Just dating, like just us spending time right now, do you know that this is right? And I was like, yes, this is a hell yeah for me right now in this moment. And he's like, well, then let's continue doing this, because whenever the next step comes, we'll know if it's right at that point or not. So it allowed me to relax, to enjoying what was our current experience without an attached outcome or fear of the outcome. And I believe that that's applicable in business and applicable in our love life.
That really just spoke to me, Vanessa, and the word that's coming up for me is the word vulnerability. I would imagine, and I know I can relate to this, being as much of a go-getter and, trying to do everything all at once. Allison's probably over there laughing right now when I say that. There is a control factor that comes in with those of us that do operate from these success principles and do have our own businesses and do have a lot of our own goals and dreams, personal dreams in life, aside from our love life. How can we speak for a moment, because I feel like this is coming up from the audience for a moment. Christy, what words of inspiration do you have for the vulnerability behind letting go and trusting in a relationship when, at the end of the day, we can't control it like we can our job sometimes?
This is such a powerful question, Ellen. It's such a scary thing to do, to put yourself out there like that. And so whenever I think about it, and whenever I find myself in those situations in love or in business, I always think, to motivate myself and to inspire myself, I always think, is this who I want to be in life? Someone who hides or someone who lives? And will I regret not doing this? Will I regret not taking this opportunity, not taking this chance to really experience something different? So I always ask myself those questions, and even when it's scary and when I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can put myself out there again, it usually helps inspire and motivate me and focus me and say, no, this is the kind of life I want to live. I want to live a life where I'm not afraid to put my heart out there. I want to live a life where I'm not afraid to put my business out there, and where, I don't want to stay small in my comfort zone, because that's not where the magic happens for most of us. We have to take risks, and we have to seek out challenges, and we have to try new things if we want to get those things that we want in life, like love, like a great relationship, like a thriving career. All of that, you have to put yourself out there, and usually the worst that can happen is not nearly as bad as the best that can happen. So it's definitely worth taking the risk.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Can I speak to something about
absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
One of the things that I see in society is this total romantic myth that depth of connection, intimacy the only way that can be experienced is romantically. And so I think that we really shortchange what relationships can be like, because we expect that we can only experience that romantically, or if we're having those kinds of feelings, it has to be a romantic relationship. But and I used to be guarded because of that. I used to be guarded a little bit because I felt, when we're talking about how do we open ourselves up, but and now even my husband and I, we've been married 15 years, and we know that each other cannot fulfill every single one of our needs. And one of the things that has been, we have a strong relationship, and we also have friends. Like, he has very close female friends, and I totally trust him, and I have close guy friends that are inclusive of our marriage relationship, that we have, that we can enjoy connection with, that that it's not about being guarded, but can we enjoy the presence of somebody else? Can we have guy friends? Can we have others in our life that we can enjoy? And it feels odd when we say creating those intentions with how we want to feel in life. We can have those yummy feelings of connection without it having to necessarily be romantic, and we can release that attachment to the romantic outcome. I believe it gives us more freedom to just be open and not be scared of opening our heart.
I love that. I think that's great. And I, if you don't mind, Ellen, just
Sure.
to add on to that, I think it's really about having a full life. You know, my husband has friends from high school, and they get together, these guys, and they go on mountain biking trips and ski trips. And I get together with my girlfriends, and I have my other passions in my life besides business. I do the flying trapeze. I was just up in LA doing that yesterday, and it fills me up and makes me so happy, you know, that I can't wait to get back home and share that joy, you know, with my husband. And I think that, you know, we have to be able to manufacture our own joy and our own happiness. If we try to have somebody else fill that void and make us happy, what that does is create dependence. And then we're dependent on their actions and their mood for that particular day if that's going to impact our joy. And then, you know, you're a prisoner in that way. So it's really about, if you want to talk about having it all, it's creating that hell yeah in every area of your life, but you have to take responsibility for that. And it's very easy to blame other situations and people for the results that we have in our life. We've all had things that have gone wrong, and you know, pain and sorrow and things like that. But until we look at it and say, what is our part in it? How did we contribute? How did we manifest this? When you can finally do that, it's the most empowering action you could ever take, because it frees you to see that you are completely capable 100% for creating your own joy and your own hell yeah.
That was great. That was a really great way to summarize that, Allison. Thank you for that. I can't help but ask, because I know that there's someone out there thinking this. They're thinking, yeah, this is really easy for you guys because you already have your soulmate. You already have the multi-million-dollar company. It comes easy to you because you're used to it. You can make things happen so easily. I myself am on rock bottom. Allison.
Yes.
Do you have anything to share on that? Because I know your personal story about being at rock bottom. So what can you say to the person who is having to start completely over right now?
Well, I've been there. You know, I was married for almost 10 years. I was in a very difficult marriage, and my daughter was very young at that point. And I just, you know, I had given it every effort that I could to make the relationship work. I had been in counseling. We did couples counseling. We did everything. We separated. We got back together. And I knew at that point I didn't have guilt anymore because I knew I had given it everything that I could. And I walked away from that relationship and set out into the world as a single mom. I had no money at that point because I had sold a business. I had given everything to my, you know, ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, and I had everybody around telling me to get a job and who do you think you are and you've just destroyed your life and what do you mean you want to become a homeopathic physician? What the heck is that? And, you know, you're just going down the tubes, lady. And I really, I got in touch with that why. And it just made me dig my heels in further to say, this is my life. And I just spent 10 years in the wrong situation. Now, granted, I don't regret that. I look back and I grew so much in that time, and I learned what I would never put myself in a situation like that again, where I allowed my self-esteem, to be vulnerable. And that's where those muscles came in that said, I'm either going to be 100% passionate about it moving forward, or forget it. And so even though I had no money, I had no direction, I had no relationship, what I did have in my heart was, I'm going to create the most amazing life ever. And that's what I did, in everything. And so, like we talked about earlier, I always ask myself, do I want to be in this situation right now? Am I wholeheartedly in this moment? And am I here for the right reasons? And not out of guilt, not out of obligation, anything like that. Do I fully want to be here? And if the answer is no, I will say no, and I will move on. And just from that resilience and determination and commitment, I went on to build 9 more very successful companies and, manifested my soulmate. And, I fell on my butt, along the way. It wasn't like it was, a perfect ride, but I just refused to settle, just refused. And I think it's just being stubborn and saying, you know what, you are worth it. You are absolutely worth having it all. And in the way that you want it, not how somebody else tells you that it should be. So.
Well, hopefully you didn't fall on your butt off that trapeze. That would have hurt.
Yeah, well, a few times, but it was so fun in the process, so it was worth it.
Well, that was great. And one word that you said really stood out to me, which was resilience, which is something I just wish I could give everyone a little bottle, a little magic potion of resilience. I see that all the time in the work that I do, helping people through breakups and divorces and even through reconciliation. Resilience, I think, is key. I think all of you ladies would agree. It's key to making your dreams come true, which makes me, I can't help but ask this question, and then I know we're getting up to the top of the hour here. I can't help but ask this. What makes some people more successful than other people? Because darn it looks easy for some people. Christy?
Oh, well, first of all, I wanted to say, anyone you look at and think, oh, wow, that was so easy for them, it never is. And so I think sometimes we fool ourselves and we think, oh, I can never have that person that came so easily, they just fell in love so easily, they opened their business and 50 clients were on their doorstep, the next day. It's never as easy as it seems. So for anyone who's listening, just know that anyone who seems successful, we've all had our trials and struggles and some crazy backstories to tell. So I just want to say that first of all. So you're not alone if you're like, I can't do this. I've definitely thought that before, and I'm sure everyone on the call has as well. But what makes some people more resilient, I think that the biggest thing that I would have to say is it's not mastery of fear, but it's being understanding your fear and working with it. Because anytime you make a change in your life, whether you put your heart on the table and get out there dating again, or tell someone you love them, or you quit your job and start a business, you have a massive amount of fear that comes up because it's you're just making yourself so vulnerable and putting yourself out there. And there's so many bad things that can happen that we think about when we do that. So really understanding your fears and taking a breath and getting conscious that a lot of times your fear is driving your decision not to do something, and really acknowledging what's happening and writing that fear down and taking a hard look at it and saying, is this fear really true for me? If I get out and date again, is it true that I'm never going to find love? I mean, really, how true is that? Or if I want to start a business, I hate my job, I'm miserable in my life, but I'm afraid I'll totally fail. How true is that? And really digging deep and taking a look at it and becoming conscious, and then and then facing it down and doing it anyway, knowing that you're never not going to be afraid. You always will be. I'm afraid anytime I launch a new product or do anything. I've always got some fear around that. So, you know that that's never going to go away, but it's just understanding how you deal with it and what it means and working with it versus just letting it guide your decisions. So I think that people who are resilient and who are successful, they have a really close relationship with their fear, and it doesn't own them. They work with it. That was a long answer, but I hope I boiled it down at the end.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We have had an entire interview about fear. We do have an entire interview coming up about fear, but I think with anything in life, it's going to creep up, and you say it in a very good way, where it's almost a window into what needs to be addressed. You know, why is the fear there? And I am certain that some of these tools that we're giving people tonight are going to help reduce that fear. Going back to some things that were brought up earlier in the conversation, and I again, if you're listening, for everyone listening, make sure you're writing this down. We want to write down how we want to feel in a relationship and create our intention statements from those feelings. And then I love Allison's suggestion about writing a love story. Right? Go ahead and write your own love story. Where do you live with your partner? How do you feel? What are you doing together? And reading that and getting into that feeling place as though you're embodying that relationship already happening to you. What I'd love to leave listeners with, since they're already going to be doing some of these, using some of these tools, is if every one of you could share your biggest success principle or success secret or strategy that you think would be of most benefit to our listeners. And then we will wrap up by talking about the gifts that you have for them, which I know will also help to catapult them and launch them in the direction of their dreams. So, Vanessa, what would you like to leave our listeners with? What is that one success secret?
Surround yourself with like-minded people who are going to elevate your way of thinking and viewing the world. And I do that by hiring a coach. I have several coaches, as a matter of fact, that I invest heavily because I know what kind of life I can create on my own and my default way of being in the world. I pay a coach to help me create a new default that's at a higher level, and I surround myself with other people who have such a high level of consciousness and awareness that they help me see how I might be holding myself back, and they don't let me fall into any kind of victim-y way of being in life or any way of less than 100% of creating exactly what I want. They're holding me to the highest version of myself, and I'm relentless about who I allow to speak into my life and who those people are. And so it's transformational to be around this higher level of thinking, people who are going to elevate who you are and hold you to really what's the best version of yourself that's already inside of you, hungry to come out and live.
That was awesome. I feel great just listening to you, ladies. I have chill bumps. Great information. Surround yourself with people that bring you up and not bring you down. And on that same note, Vanessa, for the people that we have to still be around that don't necessarily build us up or don't necessarily help us embody our vision and embody our dreams, how do we deal with that?
Well, I asked the question, like, do you really have to be around them? I mean, I literally do the hell yeah exercise very frequently. I look at every area of my life. Who am I spending time with? Who am I talking to? And if they're not in the hell yeah column, then I give myself permission to not feel any guilt about not investing more heavily in being around them if it's not a hell yeah experience. But sometimes, like family, like we don't have choice with family, I start to say, okay, wait, how can I change the dynamic? How can I be curious and maybe experience who they are and see parts of them that I haven't allowed because I've been attached to some kind of their story in the past, and bring that connoisseur spirit into even those kinds of relationships, But if they're going to stay negative Nelly and they're going to be down, I just don't. I just limit my contact.
Yeah, that's great advice. So to start your hell yes and hell no list of people in your life. Allison?
Yes. So
what is I know you have a bunch of, you all have so many tips and secrets. If you could pull one, what's at the top of your list that you want to share?
I'd say the biggest secret, and this is in every single area of life, make decisions from where you're going, not from where you're at. And that starts with getting clear on what is that big picture vision, pretending that you're there already, and whether this is in your love life and with the partner of your dreams, or in business, with your friends, places you want to travel. Pretend that you're there already, and if you were, what decisions would you make in your life from that space? So if you were truly, deeply, madly in love with the person of your dreams, what are the things that you would want to do in your life? And so what are you waiting for? Start doing them now. If you were in the business of your dreams, if you were making the kind of money that you wanted to make, what marketing decisions would you make from that place? What hiring decisions would you make? And you might be thinking, well, how can you do that if you're not there? What if you don't have the resources? When you start taking the steps as if it's already there, the people just start coming into your life that you need, the support systems, the financing, the path. And so that's really what I have done in every area of my life. Make decisions from where you're going, not from where you're at, because if you make a decision from where you are at, oftentimes it's from a space of limitation. It's from a space of a mistake you made from the past, and so fear comes up. And you can only see what you see right in front of you. If you want to expand your universe, you need to think bigger than you ever have in your entire life, triple that, quadruple that, and once you're there in your mind, what are the action steps that you would take? And when you start taking actions from a magnanimous place as this, you will start opening your doors to the most wonderful, beautiful, dreamy, luscious opportunities all along the way.
I couldn't help but stand up just now because I got so excited for everyone. And in fact, one thing that we're doing in this telesummit, which is very different than any other telesummit, is over on our private Facebook page, we are utilizing the power of group intention setting. And I'm having people go over to the Facebook page at the Post-Roast Hangout and write down their intentions and how they want to feel so that we can collectively embody that and all take a 10,000-foot view of all of our love lives and all of our lives and visualize that and help to manifest it. Allison, there's something that you say about building, what is it, the plane, something about a plane?
Oh, build the plane while you fly it. Yeah.
Love that.
And
super
that,
important.
And that just means don't wait till things are all perfect and aligned and in a box. If I did that, I would never do anything. So just as you are creating it, put it out there for everyone to see, and then you can mold it and beautify it and perfect it and tweak it along the way.
That is awesome. I'm super excited to hear everyone's intentions and how they want to feel in a relationship. The discussion of tonight's interview happens live online at the Facebook Cupid's Roast Post-Roast Hangout. I'll meet everybody there. I know these ladies would love for you to get in touch with them and download their free gift. It's easily accessible right here on the event listen page. Christy, would you like to tell listeners what they're getting from you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're getting my 6 simple steps to finding work that makes you happy, really finding your passion. So there's a lot of books and courses and a lot of overwhelming information out there to help you try to winnow it down and figure out what your passion is and what your next step in your career should be. And I personally find that a lot of it is really overwhelming. So I've taken all of the best research and work through my work and through all of my research that I've done and boiled it down to 6 really simple steps into a workbook for you that is fun and interactive. And at the end of it, you'll have a better direction for where you want to go next in your career that is very simple. So you can grab that workbook. It's free for you at the link that Ellen posts. So please, by all means, go grab it, do the work, and, make that investment in yourself, because I think you are absolutely worth it, and the rest of your life will fall into place when you put yourself, you make that investment in yourself. And so I can't wait to see what happens with everyone's love lives.
Yeah, that is awesome. After getting these 3 gifts, they're going to be all set for success. Vanessa?
Yes. My gift
What is
yeah, it's if somebody is already in a relationship and they're trying to understand, okay, how can I successfully balance my relationship as well as my business so that I'm thriving in both? And so it's a process that I have worked with thousands of entrepreneurs in the last 8 years that I've helped people build businesses, and it's around how do you get on the same page? How do you make certain that you're achieving goals and doing things on a daily, weekly, monthly level that is supporting that vision that you do have for your love life and for your business? And then lastly, what do you do whenever you get out of sync, when you start feeling the stress and you start feeling that tension in the relationship and you're feeling like, okay, wait, is this one where I let go of the relationship, or this is something I'm committed to changing the dynamic? How do you change that dynamic in such a way that you're back into being on the same page, being on the same team, and really thriving in both love and business?
They're going to love that. They're really going to love that because it is hard. It's hard to balance it all. Allison?
Yes. Well, I'm excited because what I'm going to be giving to the listeners is 6 months on my interactive life coach software. And I was looking for a software a few years ago to help my clients stay on track and focused with their goals, because they all had, amazing things they wanted to create, but as creative people, we can be all over the place. I call it EADD, entrepreneurial ADD. And so I wanted something, I couldn't find anything that would really hold my attention, that was fun and colorful and motivating. And so I decided to invent this software called the Interactive Life Coach. And it helps you to clarify your passions, that big picture vision I talked about, in every single area of your life, in your relationship, your career or business, your wealth, your fun life, your health. And then it helps you to break it down into very small, workable steps, so that you can incorporate your dreams into your life right now. You don't have to wait for time to stop for you to squeeze it in, because we know that's not going to happen. And then there are exercises on there for every single area of your life. I mean, to the point of creating your budget and your financial goals, your health goals, exercising, staying fit, which is so important for that resilience piece. There are exercises in finding your soulmate and setting your intention, and there's a vision board on there so you can make it really colorful and bring it to life. So I'm just so excited to be a part of this roast. I honor you, Ellen, for what you're doing, and this is going to impact so many people. So I'm excited to share this gift. Thank you.
This is unbelievable. I mean, all 3 of these things combined, ladies and gentlemen all over the world are going to be all set. Thank you so much for your generosity, all 3 of you. I'm feeling super, super empowered, and let me just say that I can completely relate to all different levels of where people are at, whether it's rock bottom or somewhere in between greatness and having lost it all. And everything that these ladies have taught you tonight is real and it works. I've tried some of it, and the stuff that I learned tonight, I'm going to be also implementing into my life. So thank you, ladies. We're going to have a discussion about intention setting and how to make dreams come true, how to get it all over at the Facebook Post Roast Hangout. And I've made it super easy for you to download and re-listen to this recording over and over again as many times as you need by going to download the entire Cupid's Roast box set. You can invest in yourself at cupidsroast.com/box set, and you can download this and re-listen, which I would greatly encourage you to do so. Before we leave, I'd like to just have, if you have a quote, if you have a sentence, if you have something inspirational you'd like to leave our listeners with. Christy?
Any inspirational things I want to leave the listeners with? I think that the last thing is that I think everyone on this call, everyone who's listening in, you're awesome. You're already taking steps to make your life great, and I just want to applaud you for that. And wish you all the best. I mean, I don't have any amazing Dalai Lama wisdom in that respect, but I just want to applaud everyone for stepping forward and taking control and really trying to make a difference in their life. I think that when you do that, that's when success happens.
Yeah, they've already taken the hardest step, which was just being here, right?
Absolutely.
Vanessa?
Absolutely.
So if you want the answer to the question, how do you be so wildly attractive in life and business, I would leave you with Howard Thurman's quote again. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Love that. Allison?
I love that. I feel so much more alive being on this call.
I do too.
Let's see. I would say put your head towards your dream. Walk towards it every single day, and don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done.
Yeah. Oh, I second that. Wow. I am supercharged right now. I'm going to go do my own intention setting, and I'm going to jump on Allison's software, and I'm going to download the gifts that were available tonight. I encourage everyone to do the same. Thanks for being here. I'll see everybody over at Facebook. And again, you ladies rock. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Ellen.